It's really not that big of a deal. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, if he's still listed as questionable, it's nothing disastrous whatsoever. He'd clearly be able to play in the next series, even though Steve Kerr is on the record saying that their status in this series will have no determination whatsoever as to when Steph Curry will play. His health will, how he's feeling. I can understand and respect that, but I ask the question again. Why jeopardize anything? Why not give him as much rest as you possibly can in this series? They are not playing against a team. They are playing against a collection of individuals. It's James Harden shooting the ball. It's James Harden passing the ball when he wants to. It's James Harden looking like a superstar scorer 1 minute and like somebody who doesn't know how to pass the next. Don't get me started with his defense. Yeah. I remember when Harrison Barnes blew by him the other day, and I'm watching guys talk about how Dwight Howard didn't cover James Harden when Harrison Barnes blew by him. But how do you get there in time when a guy takes one step and he's in the basket for a dunk? Who's that fast to be there? Unless you're just playing zone and you're manning the paint, there's no way that you could cover somebody defensively that gets blown by so easily. So when I look at it from that perspective, and I look at the fact that 6 different guys took more shots than Dwight Howard, it just tells me, Skip, you got to remember, I keep bringing this up because when Dwight Howard went to Houston, I was there. Remember, I sat down, I interviewed him. Remember, I was there with McHale and Akeem the Dream Olajuwon and all of these guys and Daryl Morey and these boys. And I heard what they said about what kind of team they wanted to have and what they wanted to do. And I watch this team now, and it's the complete antithesis of everything that they said. So when I look at it from that perspective, if you're the Golden State Warriors, you have nothing to worry about. You might have a home game. All you have to be concerned about is a 40 to 50 point explosion by James Harden. That's it. There's absolutely, positively nothing else for the Golden State Warriors to worry about. Steph Curry didn't play, and Harrison Barnes shot 1 for 10 from the field, and they still beat the Houston Rockets. All right, because Iguodala showed up, because Sean Livingston showed up and had 16 points and 6 assists off of the bench, because Klay Thompson dropped 34, because their defense in Houston seems relatively non-existent. It's almost like they don't want big boys covering the paint, for crying out loud. Because of the Dwight Howard that I know, I don't care what steps he's lost or whatever the case may be. It ain't that bad. Schematically, you know, culturally, something's wrong with this squad. No doubt. And if you're Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors, what do you really have to worry about? Play until you lose a game. Yeah. Now, if you lose a game, you're still up 2-1, and then after that, you can make that decision. Okay. Or you win, you'd be up 3-0, and then you'd be up 3-1 if they won a game. Okay. There's nothing to worry about.
So you're saying there's nothing to worry about Steph's right ankle, correct?
I'm saying there's nothing to worry about with the Houston Rockets,
you're
why
saying
jeopardize Steph Curry?
In this
series-wise,
right.
there's nothing to worry about.
Nothing.
Should there be anything to worry about going forward with this ankle?
Of course, because of the history.
Okay. 2 surgeries on this right ankle.
That's right.
Okay, before I answer this question, I'm going to be painfully honest about this. Maybe I should disqualify myself. Maybe I should recuse myself, because clearly this is the essence, what we're talking about, of the outcome of the Western Conference playoffs. It all is going to revolve around the right ankle, that little area right there of Steph Curry's. And I'm going to quote our Brian Windhorst on 6 o'clock Sports Center, and then he was again on the late Sports Center. That you cannot overstate the concern just because it's his right ankle. And it's been so troublesome to the point that there were times 3-4 years ago, we all thought maybe it could end his career prematurely. He just could never get right with those. He had both tissue paper ankles going, left and right, but especially the right. Yeah. So, okay, we get it. The Warriors say, we took an MRI. Well, number one, you did have to MRI it, so you thought it was serious enough at least to look at it. But then you say publicly, we saw nothing, the MRI revealed nothing that gave us concern, or whatever their phrase was. Is that close enough to what it was? Okay. Yep. how do you know? Are they obligated to come completely clean with you? Or are they trying to will it away? Is Steph's quote, you know, like, I see no reason I can't play in this game. Is he just trying to will it away? Because if I were in his shoes, I'd be trying to think it away, like ignore it and say, just leave me be, because he's coming off a second straight MVP performance, and they have another opportunity to become even more special than their 73-win selves are. They could sweep the playoffs. They're capable. They could go 16-0. It wouldn't shock me.
Let's dissect
all right,
where you're going with this. Essentially, if I'm reading you right, you're saying that psychologically, because you injured your ankle, the slightest thing that happens, it stays in your mind. Okay.
Or what if it's really more hurt than you know?
No,
what I know.
What I'm saying to you, it's a given. You're not 100%, because if you're feeling 100%, you're feeling 100%. But if you're feeling less than 100%, psychologically, it can have an impact on you because you take into account the history, what you remember about it, how you felt you overcame it. Suddenly, that's not your reality anymore because now it's hurting again, and it's the same ankle. I get where you're coming from. My point is that's even more of a reason to sit up there and rest him for as long as you possibly can.
Because the one defender I do not want to inflict upon Steph right now is that guy. He's relentless. He's just all over you every second. He makes you do slightly awkward things because you can't really predict where he's going to go because he's so cat quick. So I wouldn't play Steph either of these two games at Houston and hope you could put this away, and you think there's a chance they could put away a team that might have already been psychologically put away, right?
That's right. That's
all right. So now I'm back to the issue. And again, maybe this is, look, this is so hard to talk about. I'm not wishing injury upon anybody. I don't want him to be hurt.
We know that.
But I'm just telling you, they are so great. They are so invincible from night to night that it's possible this is the only way they're going to fall is if he can't be 100%.
But let me say this to you, Skip Bayless. This is the part about you that is nauseatingly disgusting.
Okay, you want me to want them at full strength.
You want to be.
I don't.
Listen. I am a Ric Flair fan.
Okay.
The Nature Boy.
You know what?
Woo! You understand? That's me.
You know what?
To beat a man, you've got to beat the man. You are the kind of person.
You know what?
Hold on. I want the public to hear me say this to you.
What?
You are the kind of person, Skip Bayless, and I want the camera looking at you. You are the kind of person that you want to win at all course. If you don't wish any harm on him, but if somebody could kidnap Steph Curry, not do him any harm, but just kidnap him, to keep him away from the Spurs, that's what you will take. That's who you are. Me, I want you at your best because when I beat you, I want to know it's legitimate. This is why Golden State wants Cleveland so badly, because of all of these folks out there who believe they're just champions because Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love were down. That's why that's the height of Golden State's motivation, other than actually repeating. That's what they want most, and that's what I'm saying to you. So what I'm saying is, to be the man, you've got to beat the man, except when it comes to Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless wants Steph Curry kidnapped. He wants Klay Thompson to get sick. He wants Andrew Bogut back in Australia.
Why?
This is what your issue is.
You know why?
What?
Because many years my Spurs have been the man, and my Spurs have gotten injured going into the playoffs. Tony Parker said the other night after Game 1, he just shrugged. Whoever's interview, I can't remember which network it was, said, you were just like jet quick tonight. What happened? He said, I was hurt last year. Nobody accepted it, but I was hurt. He had a bad hamstring. He couldn't go. I kept saying, run, Tony, run, against Chris Paul in the first round. He couldn't run. He couldn't guard Chris Paul, and Chris Paul took the series over because of the liability that was Tony Parker and beat my Spurs and eliminated them in Game 7 in the first round. Do you remember going back 3 years ago, I believe, maybe 4 now, Ginobili got hurt on the last night of the regular season, busted his left elbow in a game, I think it was at Orlando. That meant nothing, and I still haven't forgiven Pop for even playing him in the game, but they were not the same. Remember, they got upset by Memphis? Memphis knocked him out. Remember, all of a sudden, Zach Randolph looked like Michael Jordan in that series. Well, okay, so how many times have I been beaten by injuries? So in other words, what goes around comes around.
So in other words, what you're saying is, since it happens in your Spurs, it happens. Well, I will say this. Skip Bayless,
Yeah.
if the San Antonio Spurs win a championship because of Steph Curry, because Steph Curry didn't play, and a Chris Paul didn't play, all right, and a Kevin Durant or Russell Westbrook didn't play, that title ain't the same.
Okay.
You do understand that.
Okay.
I'm not talking about the San Antonio Spurs in terms of how they should embrace it, but I'm talking about for the purposes of somebody like you running your mouth about your Spurs. We don't want to hear all of your bloviating all year long about how the Spurs are going to win the championship when you're reliant upon people getting hurt in order for them to win it. I'm just saying. To understand that, Skip.
Okay.
Because I'm not going to sit there. I'm not going to give you any credit for that.
Miss Asterisk. Okay. Was that not an asterisk last year on Golden State's run to the championship?
Well, time out.
Oh, did not everybody lose their point guard right before Golden State played them in the playoffs?
Whoa. Let me say this to you. That depends on what happens this year. It's about how you defend your crown.
Okay.
And so what I'm saying to you is that you could ask that question. It's a legitimate ask, but you can't definitively say it is so unless Golden State, fully loaded, gets knocked off this year. If they don't get knocked off, then they have validated last year's championship.
That is correct, and that's what they are attempting to do.
And you are hopeful that Steph Curry, because you're not wishing injury, but you're hopeful that he can't play, so the Spurs can advance to the final. That is as weak and as pathetic as it gets.
It's not.
It is pathetic.
Wait a second. I have a question.
I mean, come on.
Did Kyrie play in all the finals last year?
I'm not saying, but nobody wished for it. I'm not talking about the Spurs.
we just talk about?
I'm not talking about the guy. I'm talking about Skip Bayless wishing for it.
Okay,
that's what I'm saying.
Did Patrick Beverley, we just referred to, did he play in that?
No, he did not.
Skip Bayless. Did Drew Holiday play in the first round?
We're talking about what you wish. We're talking about what you wish.
Listen.
Nobody wishes for that. It happens. It happens. You still got to play the games. But you are sitting here literally hoping that these impediments will get in the way. That is pathetic.
You know
How could you call yourself a Spurs fan? I mean, it's ridiculous. You are contaminating the Spurs.
No,
you are contaminating them. You should be ashamed of yourself.
I want the injury gods to be fair and equal about this.
Really?
Right? Yes. Because the injury gods don't like my Spurs. How many times do you sit over there and say, you know why I don't like about the Spurs? They're going to get hurt going into the playoffs. They're too old. They're too fragile.
Excuse me.
How many times have you said that?
What I say is that they're old and that Popovich can't help but rely on the boys he's always been relying upon. But what I'm saying to you is this. They got LaMarcus Aldridge. They got the reigning two-time defensive player of the year, Kawhi Leonard.
Oh, now you're using my argument.
They got these guys, and here you are hoping that they'll get help from an injury to somebody else. You're pathetic. If I were the Spurs, I wouldn't even want you as a fan.
You know what?
You have shamed this great organization. Pathetic.
All right, allow me to wrap this up by saying my Spurs are looking so good right now.
It doesn't count. It's against Memphis.
Bring on 100% healthy Steph Curry. I'm good. I am good to go.
All right.
You don't mean it.
I do mean it.
You've lost all credibility as a Spurs fan. I don't even know if you'll get it back for the playoffs over.
Real quick, because we have to go to break. How far can the Spurs go? The Warriors go without Steph?
The Warriors will not win the West without Steph Curry.
I think that was a Freudian slip. How far can the Spurs go without Steph? That was the question.
The Warriors will not win. The Warriors will not win.
It was the injury gods.
They won't win the West without Steph. And obviously, they wouldn't win the championship. No, they wouldn't.
We'll leave it there. God, you got me all fired up, too, all worked up. Now settle down.
They'll win this series, though.
Yep.
They'll win this series no matter what.
To the NFL next with RG3 under center. There's a lot of talk about the Browns trading the second pick, but should they? We discuss that after the break.
Going hard for the team, call me the captain. Chasing after all I sacrifice on Sunday nights to make sure my